Chapter 59 Fake News. Two torch beams pan across a dark room, coming together on a cardboard box. They both pan up, each beam ending on the other's face. Croc and Wild Mary are eerily lit by torchlight. A bigger light hits them from the side. They turn into it, caught. "Second action," a cameraman's voice says. "Wild Mary here. I ain't breaking in. The electric is off." "Not the 5-0 would ever believe us," Croc says. "We're looking for..." "What are we looking for?" she asks Croc. "This. Got it. A USB stick." Croc holds it up. Janie E. stands next to her cameraman, who has his camera on his shoulder. The light above it focuses on the pair. "Now answer the phone," Janie directs. "It ain't ringing," Mary says. "We'll add the ring on in the edit." "But that ain't real." "Mary, they make it all up," Croc advises her. They all wait for Mary to catch up. She eventually turns and picks up the phone. "Hello?" There is no reply, and Mary is puzzled. She turns to Janie. "No one there." "Just say your line to the camera and say the next bit," Janie says. "Okay." "I found it," Mary says. She turns to the camera, then freezes. "Why would they ring me? For me to speak?" "Let's try it again. Imagine they ask, 'Have you found it?'" Mary turns, picks up the phone. There is a moment, and then she says, "Yes." Mary turns to camera. "I imagined they said, 'Have you found it?' I said, 'Yes.' That was after I was imagining the phone ringing." No one watching the TV will know what you're saying yes to. In news, you have to answer the question by repeating the question, then answer it. Mary looks confused. "Yes, I found your USB stick," Janie explains, feeding her exactly what she needs to be said. Mary repeats the action as directed, says her line, and turns back to Croc. It is his turn to say the line he has been given. "We found the computer program cruise crime investigators need in the box, full of medals and commendations. These two war heroes who have been flown out to the murder ship in the middle of the Pacific Ocean from Wild Mary's Diner, where we look after them, have dealt with international terrorists all over the world. They were sent to the ship 2 days ago, dropped into the sea, surrounded by sharks. The lifeboat crew felt helpless as the two heroes swam towards them." "Do it again and add the word hungry," Janie asks. "I ain't saying they left my diner hungry." "No, the sharks were hungry. They were in bright yellow survival suits chased by hungry sharks. The two X-Forces heroes in their bright yellow survival suits swam as fast as they could, exhausted from their high-altitude parachute drop as every hungry shark in the area rushed in," Mary says. Janie nods. "Perfect." The camera light swings to Janie. "This is Janie E. for WBX-25, reporting on the progress of the two special operatives now on the cruise ship in the middle of the Pacific, where a number of murders have now been reported." Mary and Croc watch Janie finish and then turn to them. Janie takes the USB stick and holds it up uncomfortably close to her face, so it is in shot with her. On this USB stick is a Special Forces top secret program developed by the team that is used to find serial killers. It will now be uploaded to the ship via satellite. Janie stops. No, it's a stage show he does, a lecture," Mary says. "They don't know that," Janie says, handing Croc the USB stick back. "Let's get back to the diner and see what we can do with that Lawrence of Arabia story." "That ain't a story, it's a book." "It needs a rewrite," Janie says. The cameraman switches the room lights on, revealing the total mess Kieran's apartment is in. Cardboard boxes of his things lie all around, never having been unpacked. What a mess, Janie says. Well, he's always being flown around the world, never here long enough to unpack. The cameraman films the room. What do you need that for? Croc asks. I don't know, but I've got it now, just in case, he says, swinging the camera down and clipping the lens cap on. So that you can make another story up, Mary says. The pictures tell the story. He needs a good woman. That's all he needs. You married, Janie? Our divorce will be through by the end of the month, the cameraman says. Mary and Croc stop, dumbfounded by the remark. Janie is almost out of the door but turns, wanting them to speed up. He just said that for a joke. Is anything you two ever say true? Mary asks. Chapter 60. CN61X. Benny, on his mobility scooter, fills the photography office. He has been there all afternoon, making it impossible for anyone else to get into the small space, or Jason to get out. They are on a cell speakerphone to Dwight in Miami. That's all the groups of photographs, compressed and sent, Dwight. They are uploading, but it will take at least another hour, Benny says. Okay, longer if the storm starts to play, right? I have one of the new staff here going to start on them this morning. They will stay dedicated to photos and security footage and the timeline. I want to exclude as many people and suspects as we can tomorrow. In the meantime, trust no one that hasn't been excluded. Roger that. Can you chase to get the bridge officer's log? I should have had that by now. Anything like that, which is late, must be classed as suspicious. Okay. Have a good evening. Think you're going to hear about it, Dwight? Good or not. The call ends with Benny on a high. He is really enjoying his holiday now he has a purpose. Just think how slow everything was before all this technology like face recognition. I know how slow it was. I also know it could be better, Jason says, standing and stretching from the keyboard. How? I would like to send a guest's available pictures to their cabin TV, where they could click to purchase. Have them play while the cruise radio is on. I think Dwight is in a chair too, Benny says, reversing out. What makes you say that? Jason asks, following him. I can hear the motor whirring in the background when he needs to move. You get to notice. How did it happen? Jason asks, indicating his question refers to Benny's personal predicament. Sunny day. I was thinking of buying a soda when I saw a robbery going down. What do you do? How do you react? I'd stay well away, Jason says. They watch the flow of guests, dressed smartly for the evening, walking towards the theatre. But would you? I called the police, relaying everything that was going on, describing the robbers and the crime, until he took a knife and held it at a child's throat inside. Jason stays with him, engaged by the story. You went inside? The mum was screaming. I just walked in. I didn't run, didn't panic, just walked. I even apologized for raining on their parade. I was just killing time. That's what I thought, until the cavalry arrived. I dropped my phone and wallet as a distraction. The guy shouted, "Leave it." I said I couldn't. I had all my wages in. He dropped the kid, went for my wallet. I guess I went for him, and I got stabbed from behind. Then there were blue lights and gurneys, and the rest is history. Was the kid okay? I think so. I never heard from them ever again. Did they get the guy? Yeah. But you can't walk. At least my Todger works, Benny smiles. Trust no one apart from Hunter, Phillips, me, and your team. He looks at the sea of faces rotating on the sales screens. Couples smiling, thinking they know everything about each other. How many of these don't know their life partners? I bet Hunter has stirred a few hornets' nests with interviews this afternoon. Who is the killer? Jason muses. Why has this not happened before? Benny asks himself aloud. You mean there should be murders on every ship? Not necessarily the murder, but trends repeat themselves, Benny says without thinking. If not a murder, then what? That is the question for a psychiatrist. I'm a data analyst. I can just say it should be in the numbers. I'd love to work on crime with Dwight in Miami. So, from data, you get trends and murders. If someone leaves their house between 7 and 8 in the morning, we can't predict where they'll go. But if 1,000 people leave their houses, we can know that 70% will go to the station, 20% will buy a coffee, 10% will be running late. That will be the same every day, without much change. With 1,200 guests on this ship, the confidence level on predicting trends will be high. It must be, so the ship knows what to order, what to supply. Each route is different. Benny picks up on this. His look studies Jason's face, waiting for an explanation. A Caribbean cruise has a totally different clientele to, say, a Baltic cruise, and a world cruise stands alone. No, the world cruise will be the same as every other world cruise, year after year. Plus, all the world cruises by all the different ship operators will be similar. Maybe, but the ships have distinctive styles. Some are rich, some are budget. Benny looks up and down the corridor. Do you know why you are here? No one else wants this space? People must walk past it day and night to get to the lift, to the theatre, and back to their cabins. Predictable routes, known as footfall, repeated habits. You are suggesting there should be a killer on every world cruise if we have one on this ship. Benny shakes his head. No, but if we had 50 killers on board, then we could expect killers on board the next cruise. So, we could build probabilities. Big if, predicting, Jason adds. If trees gave off Wi-Fi signals, I predict people would plant more trees. Have a good night. Benny drives towards the theatre, leaving Jason thinking.